check, check. Oh, it is going to be so epic, you guys. What's up, everybody? Can you hear me good? Welcome to Phazerville. Got the chat up here. What's happening, guys? This is the final stream of the month for end of Stoptober 2020, my yearly music challenge where I try to create as much music as possible, preferably every new piece of something every day. But this month has been kind of intermittent because I had to work a lot. But what's up, Grace? Hibiki. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Henry, I know you're out there. Virgil B. Clairvaux. So, yeah, this is basically, I'm not doing anything too fancy. I'm just going to show off what I've made so far this month. That first thing for the intro there was a little ambient thing that I threw together literally like 12 hours ago as I was like, I could barely hold my eyes open, but I'm just like, I want to I want to play with this. You know, I'm always wanting to play with some music. Aw Yang, what's up? It didn't show up in your feed. What, on YouTube? Whatever, you already know. The people that matter already know. Right? Thanks for tuning in, guys. But yeah, that thing I just played was a little ambient thing that I made today. So that's day 30. Where should I start? I never go into these things with a plan. The big one is day 26, and that's the massive drum and bass banger that I made. Nicholas. That's how you pronounce it in Greek. Nicholas. I don't know. Should I start out with that banger? Let's what was it? Day 23. So day 23 is the one I covered last time, right? That was like the only no, okay, so okay, I'll start out with this one. Let's show you what I'm working with. What? Bang her? Banger. Yeah, so drum and, yeah. I've had a bunch of coffee, so I'm kind of wired a little bit. And I'm still drinking it. The Reese, baby. Yeah, it's got some sick Reese in there. But I'm going to start out with this one, though. This was day 23. And I guess I could just play it. I'll play it and talk over it. Are my levels good? I'm running my audio a little differently today. And there's a lot more headroom because I'm going into the line inputs in the back of my interface instead of the front. Focusrite updated their drivers finally so that Windows can listen on any of the inputs, not just 1 and 2. But I digress. Here we go. So this was just an exercise. I do this every now and then, and I really should do it more often, where like you set up and you just record in a loop. So I was recording in a loop, and then you hit a button and you can record another layer in the same loop. And so you just like build up layers in a loop real quick. It's just kind of playing around. Like I wanted to play around on piano. And then I also have some synths in there. Nothing fancy. And this is a reused drum loop. Cool. This one? This is not exercise music. No, it's just this was just a doodle. Like my music equivalent of doodling on a random piece of paper. So it's just some piano. And so like you can see this is just the same thing copied with different parts muted. So like this loop right here is the main section. So like I think I started out with the drum loop. Man, that drum loop is intense. It's super compressed. That came from a live session. Like a live jam session. Loop it. So I just started out with the drum loop just for a percussion thing to keep time, and then I don't know. I think I probably started with the piano, but I don't know. Like I say, this was just a doodle, and I ended up like resampling it a little bit. So that was day 23. What am I covering? That was day 23 was last Friday. I think I made this right after I did the last stream then, right? Because the last stream was Thursday, wasn't it? The 22nd? Tap dancing. I guess. I don't know. This is just whatever. There's a helm in here. I don't know if any of you use helm. I haven't played with it that much, but there's some neat sounds in there. Is my yeah, it's a pretty cool synth. I just had it in there for one part. And then what? Oh, I tried out Dext just for it's just a little noise, little synth. Bunch of surge. And then piano. And the piano is just this Keyzone Classic. Free one. It's not that bad. What the helm? Aoyang gives this track 6 out of 10, which I think is fair, because I didn't even put that much effort into it. Like in terms of effort, it was probably a 4 out of 10. I don't know. Okay, enough of this one. Day 23. So after that, I wanted to go back though. Was it day 21? Yeah, day 21, I think, is the one that I didn't render. Yeah, this is the one where I was just like experimenting with the saxophone. And yeah, this stuff. So this is the track from last week where I was experimenting with, like, I just recorded a bunch of random noises and dialogue of me and my girlfriend, and then used a transient chopping technique to just turn it into like little bits, just little bits of things. 50%. Around 40. Oh, especially these ones. That's me flicking my cheek over and over. So that's some really, really cool percussion with minimal effort. Like I literally just recorded and then used a method to chop out the slices. Where's the one I'm looking for? So I reused some of this stuff in the drum and bass track that I'm about to show you.
I don't everything.
I don't... Where'd the giggly one go? This is the one. Why is it muted? I muted it for some reason. I don't know. This track is just a mess. It's a sandbox. This loop though. So that's my girlfriend's giggling in there, and I just thought it sounded so neat. So I ended up reusing that one. Am I ready to drop this on you? Some of you have already heard it. What was 29? All right, let's just get into it. This is why I'm here. Is anybody on Facebook? If anybody's on Facebook, I probably can't see your comments, but I know I'm out there. Right? Okay, here it is. I'm just going to play this one all the way through. So check it out. I'll try to give you something to look at while it's playing. This is my drum and bass banger. I called it Sexercise because some of the sounds in there, never mind. It is what it is. Dang. I wanted it to just echo out. It's got like a long echo tail at the end there. Yeah. More moaning. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you like it. It's, I don't know. It could probably still use some work. And, but I did like go back to it and try to mix it at least kind of well. Like, I don't know. And I don't know if I like my snare. You know, everybody's snare is always crappy. Oh, should I break it down? You want to see how I made it? Let's pull everything back here. Oh, jeez. You don't need to see the master fader, do you? Neurofunky, yeah. All right, so I'll show you what it started with. It started with this little loop. Which came out of that Day 21 project. So this is 4 different transients that got chopped out of a random recording. Like, the 2 bass ones are probably me bumping the side table in my bedroom. And for all I know, the higher ones are probably me spanking my girlfriend. Maybe not. I have honestly no clue what they are. but hey, you know, it's a cool little loop. And so the whole project started literally with just this, and then the same loop, double speed. So like already, and it sounds good here because I've already EQ'd it and stuff, and it's running through the whole master chain. Let me turn off my master chain and see if that makes a difference. Loop 1. So let me start out with just this one. What's on it? I got some tube saturation. Gentle tube. Just give it a little bit more something. There's this multi-wave shaper. It's one of the stock JS plugins in Reaper, and the drive is cranked way up. Hold on. Let me turn all these off and see how it sounds without it. It's still going through the drum bus, which has a little bit of camel crusher and compressor, but that's okay. So that's it, just raw. Tube saturation, multi-wave shaper. Yeah, that multi-wave shaper really like makes it louder. It's just kind of over like an overdrive. More camel crusher with super fat compression and some distortion. And then the EQ, this really cleans everything up. Takes I got rid of all the low end because I need the low end space for the kick and all the bass. So that just really cleaned it up, and then there's a final compressor. And that gives you that. Probably similar situation with this one. Well, this one's just super high passed with a little compression, and then it's going through the perk. Oh yeah, the perk. This little perk sub bus has a side chain on it that's being triggered by the snare. So okay, so like I have this whole percussion subgroup that's, I don't know, I was ducking it by the snare a little bit. So anyway, that's what it started with, just those percussion things. There's a bunch of hats in here. Weird. Here's one. I just called it weird. And this is actually like probably one of the best sounds in here. Clap them cheeks. See, it sounds like one of those nice little D&B percussion things. What is it really? I don't even know. Let me just loop like this. So this thing, hold on. Let me turn off the effects. I'm pretty sure it's like the tail end of me saying something like, you know, like vocal crackle. But it's just a little bit, just a little bitty sound. Again, it's a transient that got chopped out of a random recording. And so let's see, we got EQ that just isolated the range that I want. Cyanide, this is like a crazy wave shaping distortion plugin. So that, like, this particular wave shape completely mangles the sound. Without it. Yeah, it just kind of like makes it into a crunchy thing. And then a basic compressor. This is like my, all right. This DC1A3 is my standard compressor now because it's nice. It's pretty transparent. Like the default setting is nice to just control things. And then the magic is the Valhalla delay with splash verb. So it's kind of like a slapback. That's what gives it that space. So that's a cool little sound. What else? And then this loop, you know, from the sex tape session. So my girlfriend's giggling and just random noises. That's pretty cool. So altogether, that's like the auxiliary percussion is what I'd call it. Hi-hats are nothing too special. What is it? Oh, so this is just a standard hi-hat, but the open one is me. That's like a tss, you know, an S sound from some speech. What else? We got this snare. It's kind of a crappy snare that I made. Actually, it doesn't sound that bad, but it's just like, it's just one element of the snare. And at some point I was like, I think I need another layer to that. Oh. So this is one of the standard sample snares that I usually use. Layered with this snare that I made. I made this snare on the spot. When I started this project, I couldn't even tell you what I used. Like I think I grabbed one little piece, one of the transients. Let me try and find it. Oh, this is part of the, like here's wait a minute. 0152 glued 1 2 3. Oh. I'm looking through samples. So that's the hi-hat. This is the snare. This is how it evolved. It was like this. So that was like, it was basically dark noise from the recording, and I just took a snippet of it and gradually like EQ'd it and applied some reverb and kept rendering it and reprocessing it until it turned into this. It doesn't sound good. In the mix though, yeah, I don't know. It's just a little thing. It's a piece of the snare. Am I boring you guys? This is more in-depth production stuff. But if that's why you're here, this is the good stuff. This is a standard kick. I stole this from Bruce Reams, and I don't know where he stole it from. But it's that nice fat kick. But it didn't quite have enough high end. Like here it is. That's somewhat raw. If I can turn off the drum thing. So I thought it needed some more high end. So this is something I don't do that often. I really should. But I'm sending the kick. Well, it's sending to some other stuff for sidechaining too, but I'm sending it over to a separate track where it is first high passed around 480 and then distorted. So just the top kick, like, so it's just, you really need all this to hear. Okay. I'm just going to leave the mastering chain on and it's going to be loud stuff, but so yeah, I just wanted I wanted to crisp up the high end of the kick. So I sent it to a separate track where it's EQ'd and then distorted. So it's only distorting the high end. Super fat. Super fat. Without the top. Yeah, it makes the transient poke through better. That was the point. What else is in here? There's so many elements. So I covered there's something else over here. I'm still breaking down just the drums. So, I don't know, that's so loud. but without it, it's so quiet. We'll leave it on. Down here, this is probably the last of it. There's this weird thing. And there's these two things, which says kick noise and snare noise. And again, I think these are just little pieces of noise from the recording. And osmosis. The default FL kick? Really? That's the default FL kick? I don't know. It sounds good, so like whatever. Yeah, so this here though is just like noise. To emphasize the kick snare, you know? Just a little added little bits. What do I got on them? Okay, Rough Rider. This is free. This is a free compressor that really like wrecks your sound, if that's what you're looking for. And the default, I don't know, when I load it up, the default preset is this drum bus squisher, and it always makes it like super crisp but dirty. Like it really dirties the sound. So I got Rough Rider on each of these little sounds, and then EQ. What is it? The snare one is like this. I don't know. And the kick one is like this. Yeah. Just kind of shaped them to what I wanted them for, and the standard compressor to keep them under control. It's about all of that. There's this other hi-hat loop. This was a loop that I pulled from some other project. This track is structurally all there. Needs that arrangement tension. Yeah. Less cluttered when a lot of perk comes in. 8.5 out of 10. I agree. Yeah, it is still like the arrangement probably does need some work. I will totally agree. I did try to, like, the last thing that I did was I went through, it was even more messy, but then I went through and tried to structure it like a standard drum and bass track somewhat. There's this little like break section right before everything drops, and like this, I don't know. But yeah, getting back to the things, this is the only other, this one and this one are the only other drum elements that I haven't talked about yet. This is an 808 loop. This is the 808 loop from the last session, from day 21. Needs more moaning. So those are the 808 drums that Henry, you said you liked when in that other project. Well, not just the drums, but I mean you like that other project where it picked up into drum and bass tempo. These are the drums that I used over there, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll re-inject that into this project. So it's got some tube distortion, soft overdrive, so this really is like distorting it, and then an EQ because we don't need so much of the bass. Ducked a little bit of 2.5K so it doesn't get too messy. And I think it adds, I don't know, it is messy. I'm not going to lie. perks are so fat. Everything is so fat because the whole drum bus has this camel crusher with its compression and a little tube distortion, plus another compressor, plus it's going through the master chain. My master chain is this Ferric TDS. This is like standard tape compression or tape saturation. It's kind of subtle. Slick HDR, which is boosting the sound a little bit. Standard mastering compressor. And this thing, NC17. I decided, I don't know, at least right now I'm using this for the limiter. It's kind of like a limiter, but it works in like a different way. It's kind of like a wave shaper, but I have it boosting 6 dB. Like without it, with it. It boosts the sound and limits it in an interesting way. It's not like a standard limiter, but I could put on the regular limiter. Like the regular, this is my standard limiter that I usually use, and this one's super clean, whereas NC17 kind of colors the sound a little bit, but in a really good way. Let me just leave this one on for the sake of the rest of this breakdown. Okay, what do we got in here? Here's a little impact noise. I don't know, I just stole that from another project. I think that's about it for the percussion. And this little... I love it. I just love it. So all together. Oh yeah, there's one more thing. Over here. That's a free loop that I have had in my collection for a long time. I think I got it off of Freesound, actually. Freesound.org. But then it's been chopped and made to be really staccato. So that's a real like jungle flavor for the percussion. And that's about it for all the percussion. Like, whoa. And it's just a big mess. Sweet. Love it. All right. On to the leads. The leads. I think I used, oh. Yeah. I used some of these Tal Electro. So, what should I, you know what? Let me think. Let me start at the start. What's this? What is this? It's rendered. It's a rendered piece of, I think it was this same synth, but on a different preset. Yeah, here we got Tyrell. Geez. It works, but I'm using the VST3 version, so it doesn't remember what the preset's called. What was it? Oh, it's probably these keys. So, this one. It's one of these presets from Julian Ray. There's like Calm EP, electric piano, and there's like a frozen one and a bright one. I don't remember which one I used, but so that's one of these. And then this one down here is just like a render of the same pattern on a different preset. And I love, there was this video I saw a while ago about destructive workflows, and that just means that that you render things to audio and then reprocess them. And I really love it. Like it opens up so much more creativity when you just commit to something and then move forward. Like, so what I'm saying is I took this pattern and rendered it to audio. And I also did it an octave up. And so that's what this track right here is. This is the rendered audio on a certain preset. And I've been able to chop just like the one part of it and loop it. It's a minor, consideration, but it really makes like a big difference in productivity when you just like render something and then play with it. But I digress. Here is a sequencer thing. This is Surge. My favorite synth of all time, probably. Surge. It's open source, and it can do all kinds of things. This is just a preset. I was like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool. So it's possible you've heard that same sequence pattern in other tracks, because I didn't modify it in any way. It's just playing one note and then another note. And it comes out like this. Nice and stereo. Yeah, Tyrell is some good stuff, huh? Wait, Pancake? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the chat. What is Pancake, a plugin or something? So, those are just kind of the intro leads. Down here, we're getting into the bass. There's the big Reese, which I'll get to, but then we got like Little Womps and Distor. So Distor is a Surge preset called Distoro. I could play it. Nice distorted lead thing. It's a bass technically, but I'm using it like a lead. Might have to take a potty break. All that coffee. I'm almost done breaking this one down. So, Little Womps. Okay, so Distoro, this one was like a rendered sample of this same synth, but then I wanted to make a couple variations. But this first one I rendered was... The first one sounds so nice, and I couldn't quite recreate the same, timbre. I hate to do this, but I really gotta pee. I'll play you something, and I'll be right back. we're back. Free panning LFO with different rhythm panning. Okay. Sounds similar to this Behringer tremolo plugin I have. It's just a basic LFO tremolo panning thing. I'll have to look into that though. That one I just played was day 3. Little drum and bass thing I made on day 3. I might have to revisit like the whole month worth of tracks, at least my favorite ones. Anyway, back to this track. We got these little bass things. Distor. Where's the... Wow, the reverb. Where's the reverb coming from? I think it's just this Tal Reverb 4. This is like my go-to reverb when I just want just a simple reverb. And like the default, even the default is just nice. And I'll dial in the wet as much as I want. Without and with. It's a nice reverb, and it's free. I use a lot of free plugins if you haven't noticed. Lil Womps. What's this little thing? Dog bass. That one. So this was, again, just a rendered bit from a Surge preset that's not in... that I switched, you know, like I rendered just a little bit on the preset and then switched it to a different one. It's in here, right? Dog. It's just called Dog. From Gianna Brothers Basses. And it's just called Dog, but it's a nice little womp womp. So those are just like little intermittent bass patterns. What do they do over here? No, I'm not ready for the Reese yet. Hold on. What do they do over here? Maybe a little messy. I feel like what I was trying to do, like you can see in the bass, the Reese up here, is I have the pattern, and then it like I'm trying to keep them separate, you know, so it's like one bass and then another bass, but they're not playing at the same time. This one though, I don't know, I feel like it just kind of worked. But it might be a good idea to like I could make like over here. See like the Reese, and then the Reese stops and the Distoro goes, and this little wompy thing is just doing its thing, you know, at the end of every measure. Or 2-bar or whatever. Okay, the Reese. You ready for this? Frickin' intense. Are you still with me? The Reese is this Surge preset called Swell Reese. Again, Gianna Brothers basses. Swell Reese. Pretty cool. I don't remember. I don't think I modified the preset at all, but I've stacked a ton of stuff on top of it. Oh my goodness. So here's the the synth. Got some EQ. It's just the Reese. There's a separate sub, but whatever. This EQ, some OTT, only 15%. Some chorus, just a little bit wet. Tube distortion, the gentle tube. I had another saturation, but I guess I turned it off. What? Oh, okay. This is the EQ that's being automated. So, like, with the high pass is automated. So, for filter sweep. And then it goes down to this point. But, yeah, I guess I decided it needed some boost in the mid-range and the highs. And then there's a compressor to keep it under control. A side chain that... This is on the Reese. Am I using this side chain? Yeah, so this side chain is receiving from the kick and the snare. But I think I dialed it back a little bit so it's not so intense. Let's see it in the... Yeah, it's ducking a little bit on the kick and snare. Just a little bit, so it sits in the mix. And then there's this wind verb. Again, this is that Tal Reverb 4, free reverb. I love it. And it's on this wind verb preset, which is pretty cool. Just adds that air to it. And then there's this leveling tool. It's disabled on this track because this is just this one component. So this is the main Reese, and then I felt like it needed more. So I'm sending to this saw and square, but just the MIDI. I'm sending just the MIDI, so it's playing the same MIDI on these two synths, which are both Tal Electro, another common free synth. And the presets are Electro Hoover and Super Square. And those are hard panned left and right. If you want to hear just those. Just super simple, kind of a saw wave and kind of a square wave. And those are layered in with the main Reese. And then so like it's those three components, three different synths, all going to this group channel that has some tape saturation. This Thrill Seeker VBL, this is a free one. It kind of adds some saturation and compresses it a little bit. And then this leveling tool. This is the first time I've used this, actually, and it worked great for what I was going for. ADHD Audio Tools leveling tool. It's a free one. It's not exactly a limiter, right? But when I the first draft of this track, I showed it to my girlfriend, and she was saying it should, like the fuzz, in so many words, she explained that the fuzz needed to be louder, which was the Reese. And I agreed. Like that was an issue that I wanted to resolve. And this is how I did it. Like, yeah, it's just like, it brings up the level where it's quiet, and, you know, leveling tool. So it's kind of like a limiter, but like one way or another, it when I slapped it on there, it made it exactly how I wanted it. So that's the Reese. It's big and crazy. Oh yeah. Each element of it is sending to this delay. Nasty delay. This is one of my favorite. One of the first free delay plugins that I grabbed, and I still like to use it a lot. But they're being high-passed before the delay. You could listen to just the delay. All the other synths are all sending to this delay too, so this is just adding a lot of space. Like without it, it's probably kind of dead. And then with it, it just fills things out. One thing I probably should do is sidechain this delay. But like everything is sending to it. This whole project is pretty massive. That's about it, I think. Any questions? You want to see something else? Yeah, I'm personally kind of burnt out on this track because I have been playing it on repeat and tweaking and adding all these little details for like 3 days. So, kind of ready to be done with it. So, it's done for now. Glad you enjoyed. Is there anything else? There's 2 more things. Day 29. I don't remember what this is. Yes, I do. So, oh, look at this. Look at this. I wanted to this is, oh my gosh. All right. I'm just so excited because all right. So like this EQ, this is a free EQ written in the JS scripting language for Reaper by a guy, and he's giving it out on the forums. It's called Re-EQ, R-E-E-Q. Not like the stock Re-EQ. Yeah, I've covered it before. But look, you can embed it in the track control panel. So like put another one on. Hold on. Yeah. All right. So here's the this is my default with a high and low pass. You can right click on this and go show embedded UI in TCP track control panel. Look at that. You got embedded EQ right in the track, and you can mess with it. Like, wow, so easy. I'm gonna do this more. I just realized this yesterday. What else? You can show embedded UI. You can show it in here too. Look at that. That's not as big or useful, but yep. Wowzers. I like it. Let's put, oh, Grace's voice. Okay. Yeah. You talking about the drum and bass track? Yeah. It could use vocal samples now that you mention it. Like, there's always more you can add to something. Record something and send it to me and I will. I'll try it out. But I was just so excited that you can embed, like, this is already the coolest EQ, and you can embed it right in here. That's going to be my new default. So up until now, this is my default. So it's got the basic EQ setup, and I have it with knobs. I've been doing a lot of like workflow tweaks, like like setting up shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts and things like that to speed things up, like common things that I do. One of the things is like if I have an item, in fact, I'll show you that. So this is like I'm recycling bits of piano from day 23 that I showed you at the very beginning of the stream. So I decided to like that track was whatever, right? Yang gave it a 6 out of 10. I decided I just want to try to like resample little bits of it all together and then make something else. So yeah, just thought that was kind of a cool little thing. And so this project, all right, first of all, one of the shortcuts that I've set up, I'll duplicate this item. That's Control D. I think that's standard shortcut, but I've set up Shift A automatically. It does like apply. Hold on. Let me see what it actually is. Find shortcut, Shift A, apply effects with tail. The whole action is apply track take effects to items, crop to the take, and then set it. So it, like I have my tail, my render tail set at like 5 seconds. This is for reverbs and stuff, but so I have this pattern. It's a MIDI. This is a MIDI pattern that's playing these samples, all these like samplers, plus there's some EQ and compression. But if you hit Shift A, it immediately just renders that to a piece of audio with a tail, but you can chop off the tail. And that's how I got this. So again, destructive workflows. So I started out with this little MIDI playing some samples. I rendered that to audio, and down here there's some more EQ. Pitch, it's being pitched down with the formant pitched up, so it sounds different. And I got this little Valhalla space modulator plus the supermassive chorus slap, so it's like a slap back. It's pretty quiet, but it makes it sound like distant and old. So again, this is day 29, literally 2 days ago. 1 day ago. Started out with this, but you know, it sounds like too clean, so I made it dirtier. It almost has like a circus, like carnival vibe. And then what? And so I put those effects on this track and did the same thing again, like applied and rendered it to audio, dropped it down here. These are pitched down though. This is the one. So that's the rendered from this track with verb. So it's got quite a bit of this default reverb 4, and it's sending to Shimmer. Valhalla Shimmer, Taj Mahal preset. So this is like huge. I love Valhalla Shimmer. Well, this was just a quick little experiment for day 29. Yeah, kind of cool. And then I think this was literally last night. I was trying something else out. Pardon me real quick. I'm going to record a little. Can I do that? Oh. No, I can't. It would record the... Yeah, I can't do that on stream. So, I don't know. Day 29, that was just a little experiment that hasn't developed yet. And finally, day 30. This is ultra simplistic, and this is my outro. What? No. I grabbed just a random piece of rendered audio, and then also the saxophone sample. I put them on a track and drowned them in reverb. So this track that the samples are on is not even sending. I have the master send turned off, so you don't hear the dry audio at all. But on this track, we have an EQ that's high and low passing, a Valhalla room that's 100% wet in this bright room Abbey Church of Fossa Nova preset that's, just a huge room. So samples drowned in a room reverb and then sending to 2 different Valhalla shimmers. And the result is just super spacey ambient sound. And this is what I played for the intro, and this is what I'll play for the outro. Thank you, everybody. This has been quite an awesome end of Stoptober. I didn't make something every single day, but I've made a lot of really cool stuff. Wet, wet, wet. Super wet. Super wet. Reverb. Now. I'm not like in tune right now. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Henry. Aw Yang. Interstellar. Yeah, super spacey vibes. And I think it's mostly beautiful, but maybe a little bit creepy. Like maybe it works for Halloween. Speaking of Halloween, I have to go get my house ready. We're having a little shindig tomorrow. Pew, pew, pew. Alright, guys. I'm out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support. Keep it real. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay positive. I love you all. Till next time. I will probably keep doing this. It's a good habit. Like, just because October is over does not mean you can stop making music, right? I'm just going to keep doing it. And I'll probably live stream every now and then to show things off if you enjoy it. All right, peace out. Drum and bass. I'm actually think I'll leave you with one of the cool ones that I made on day 13 called Precipitate.